I thank the Parliament. Any petitions? Notices? Honourable members, the Honourable Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, the Honourable Ministers of Parliament, the Opposition Leader and the Opposition members, I, on behalf of the Speaker, I would like to welcome each and every one of you to the new year of 2023 and this first Parliament for this year. With that, I, on behalf of Parliament, wish you all happy New Year. Question time, honourable members. The Honourable Governor of Southern Highlands.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Me too, before me ask him series of questions, me like wish him yourself, the Speaker and the members of Parliament, Happy New Year. It's good to see you all in one accord, despite all the challenges. So, me like wishing you a Happy New Year along this time. Mr. Deputy Speaker, series of questions without notice. Me holding long Minister Blood Treasury, but I'm not stop. Me can ask him Prime Minister. I can answer him this plan. First one, Mr. Deputy Speaker, he got plenty talk come up in recent weeks and days in relation long this heavy one time Bengo PNG na inter oil refinery of fuel shortage. There's a lot of issues in the social media now. Man meri woglo talk also. Bengo PNG got low foreign reserve. Enough government through Prime Minister to give me plan people long Papua New Guinea. Am this plan true or not? Number two, Deputy Speaker, what is the real issue along this war of words or dispute them come up namel one time inter oil refinery na Bengo PNG? What's the problem? In a government make him clear what are these issues they are talking about. Inter oil and working petrol and diesel and all refinery and stop here using our resources, and then all make him so difficult as if people order him all this something you go from overseas na come Salem again. So all the man lo place na people from Papua New Guinea are confused. What is the issue here where you talk fuel short na Bengo PNG had long, give him approval long inter oil. So in a government explain him what is this matter that they're talking about. Second issue related to display number 3 question below me, Deputy Speaker. Why is it that we are producing diesel, petrol, all this fuel products now, price plus something and go big plus through long country? I think the people of Papua New Guinea need some directions and answers from the government. So me directing this triple question along government through long Prime Minister. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
The Honourable Prime Minister.
All right, thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Firstly, I want to thank the Governor of Southern Highlands for asking this important question. And before I make a response, I just want to wish yourself, Mr. Deputy Speaker, our Speaker, who's flying in from Manus, as well as all members of Parliament, including those opposite and the opposition leader, very good 2023. We look forward to God's blessing one more time and our continued work for our country in 2023. But a Happy New Year to each and every one of you. I just want to thank the Governor for asking this very important question. Bank of PNG is our country's regulator of the financial sector and the mother of our banks, our commercial banks in our country. They hold our foreign reserve. They are the ones who regulate in as far as forex transactions are concerned. and all financial transactions in our country. They have their fiduciary responsibilities to ensure that all transactions are done legitimately and correctly in our country, as well as their greater role in ensuring that the foreign reserve threshold in our country is at a rate that is sustainable for economy. And they make interventions once in a while, especially monthly release of US dollar into the commercial banks for them to transact and supply those who are needing US dollar for their imports, especially the imports. So in that order, bank does its role to ensure all who are transacting for US dollar transactions are concerned are done correctly. Lately, they've run a file against what they believe was an unusual order of forex from Puma. Mr. Deputy Speaker, Interoil has since left, if I could inform everyone, Interoil has since left the business of refinery at Napa Napa. About 8 or 9 years ago, Puma came in, and Puma bought over Interoil interest in that refinery. That refinery, if I could go back retrospectively, since 1997, when the refinery was first established by Interoil, there was supposed to have been purchase of Kurubu crude to supply the refinery, and there would have been a monopoly to supply oil and petroleum products, especially diesel, TVWAN fuel, petrol, and all the other petroleum products from the refinery. But since then, it wasn't effectively so. And when we met, I had the pleasure of taking Minister for Petroleum and Energy, Vice Minister of Petroleum and Energy, and Minister for Finance and Planning as a witness to my meeting with Puma on Sunday. I did put it to them that we do not tolerate us sort of being held to ransom, especially our country and our economy held to ransom when a supply is suddenly cut. But they did explain. In that meeting, the explanation was such, Mr. Deputy Speaker, to answer the governor's question. They said their demand or their requirement for them to purchase the new fuel supply was sought. The Bank of PNG did not allow Puma to be on the board for the commercial banks to supply forex for them to make the purchase for the new order to come in. That is because of some issues that Bank of PNG felt Puma need to respond to. Puma did show me 13 issues that Bank of PNG raised. Their response in as far as those issues were concerned. Today, I met Central Bank Governor and a team from the Central Bank with Chief Secretary and a team at the office. They responded that they're working to resolve these issues. There are some regulatory issues that Bank of PNG felt Puma need to respond to. Puma has responded to them. The central government, national government through Treasury and Prime Minister's Department will try to arbitrate so that we do not stop the immediate supply of fuel, but at the same time, the issues that central bank feels needs to be addressed are addressed through the due process. Needless to remind us, but Mr. Deputy Speaker, central bank is an independent bank. They operate at arm's length from the Treasury and from the executive government. Treasury and executive government control the fiscal policy. The central bank control the monetary policy. The balance of these two essential policy spaces ensures our economy is functional. To answer the first question raised by Governor in terms of the forex threshold at the central bank right now, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I want to inform our country again. The forex we have today, 13 billion kinas equivalent sitting in our central bank. That is the highest ever our country has ever held in reserve by central bank since 1975. The last time the country has averaged a high was the NA government's tenureship when they were in office. The central bank reserves peaked at around 9 billion kina equivalent in as far as our reserves are concerned. The last 3 years, through good use of fiscal policy, and especially when we borrowed from cheap concessional US dollar denominated borrowings, as well as our increase in the agriculture export that has gone out, we've consistently kept our reserves at high. It has been growing from 10 billion, 11 billion, 12 billion this year. I was informed by a central bank that we are sitting in excess of 13 billion kina in the central bank. That is a reserve that can cover for almost a year's worth of supply. Usually, central bank keeps in reserve enough to cover for 6 to 9 months. We have 1 year worth of supply in our foreign reserves, and so foreign reserve is not actually US dollar available for transaction is not an issue. Right now, it's just the requirement by central bank. We've asked the central bank to look at the way they're doing business, especially the requirements need to be posted clearly to those who use, those who need US dollar to transact. And we're working through with central bank to ensure the access to foreign currency is much easier on the market, so that the business who need foreign currency could be supplied the foreign currency they need for their purchase. But coming back to the Puma and Intel issues, those issues are being looked at. Puma did inform us there's no strict monopoly by Puma at the moment. We do have other importers. ExxonMobil, for instance, imports, and a few other importers like those at Lihir, they import their own fuel. So imports going on right now. There is no monopoly. The reason why Air Niugini had to shut down last week was when Puma issued that moratorium. Air Niugini had a contract with Puma. And Puma was to be the only supplier of ZA1 fuel to Air Niugini, so for public safety. They felt when Puma was trying to stop the supply of fuel, then Air Niugini wouldn't compromise public safety and transport, so they issued the stop flight notice. We impressed upon Puma. There mustn't be any more surprises. We also impressed upon Bank of PNG. Fix the short-term issues, allow transactions from Puma to take place, whilst in the medium term, let's fix the issues you felt Puma need to respond upon and clear that out, and we work forward towards a long-term solution that includes accessing cheaper, if not accessing fuel from Kutubu crude, and for us to hopefully have a downstream processing in our own country in the not too distant future. Government has already given signal to MRDC and to Kumul Petroleum to look into downstream processing of fuel in our country. We've also signaled Puma and Santos to tidy on buying Kutubu crude using Kina and to have Kutubu crude processed in country instead of buying Kutubu crude with US dollar. And at the moment now you have Kutubu crude being sold outside and Puma importing straight from outside into country the finished products they're retailing here in our country. So, Mr. Deputy Speaker, to round off the good question raised by the Governor of Southern Highlands, which is a public interest matter as we speak today, the issues that Central Bank has raised have not been compromised. We've indicated to Puma these are issues. As regulator, they have all right to look into them. Puma and Central Bank are asked to sit together in a tripartite meeting to be facilitated by the executive government for those issues to be resolved as we work towards a long-term solution to giving this country energy security, including us accessing domestic produced fuel for fuel production in our own country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Kairuku.
One kind Happy New Year long you now. Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, Leader of the Opposition, Ministers, Vice Ministers, Governors and Members of Parliament. My question without notice is directed to the good Minister for Education, and it's in relation to school fees for this year. Whilst we have appropriated monies for free education in the 2023 national budget, we have already schools or institutions issuing notices to parents or guardians to pay up school fees even before the kids go back to school. So, you know, we need some clarity around this to fellow Papua New Guineans So we are all on a par or in uniformity when it comes to government policy, but more so and especially the free education policy. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
The Honourable Minister for Education.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, and I thank the member for Kariku for a very good question on, with regards to school fees. Before I comment on this, I thank our government to continue to support our parents and our students with school fees throughout the country. This year, our government is continuing to pay school fees throughout the country. In general education, it's from elementary all the way to grade 12. We have continuously educating our parents and teachers and our communities about the school fee rollout in our country by our government. We started this since we took the office. 632 million school fee subsidy from elementary all the way to grade 12. No parents must pay school fees. Your government has paid school fees already. This year we are rolling out, this morning we are talking to Treasury to roll out this year's first term school fee. Me like talk sa wala papa mama long country blo yimi, government blo yimi, and we buy school fees. Now teacher, now headmaster, now board, ma charge all school fees. All schools blo yimi, start long elementary all the way to grade 12. Now total school fee, or last year, we will pay him 632 million. One can this year, by me will pay him. Now no got one block government before, he been buying school fee, low time. We will buy him low time. Before the school start, now we will pay him too. Before the school he pass. This the government too buy project fees. You will pay my complaint too much project fees. The Maraperoso government, and we buy him project fee too. 160 million. We will start him last year. Now, this 160 million is tapping into bank accounts. We will pass him money, 160 million. Last year, go close to Christmas because no go to school. Management, now head teacher, he may not call him all still man, Mary. That's what no good got misuse come up. Or some last time we talked. Plan the schools, play me, or use him on school accounts, or some one play the machine. So me directing my department, play me, one time all banks, lost stop him, or 160 million. It's sitting there. I'm stopping the accounts, play me, no projects. Now, close to time school is start, by me asking bank, release him or you go long schools, long country. So, there's the money by you make one and project fees. You must look long all plan, all schools you got, all infrastructure development, not training programs. So please, all board of management, headmasters, you know, can mislead him all people blame me. You know, can talk about Papa Mama buying school fees, your government is paying school fees. You must report you go along education authorities below your province. Now me talks away too, so was one plus school, he charge him you plus school fees. Report he comes, so me by charge him this law headmasters. Now school society impose him on school fees, you go along all picking. Now something, time long school. Start, you know, got plenty activities. So why you like him school fee long start lo school here? You must get planned before the money come lo accounts please. So this time I'll storm the talks away. Please, all members of parliament, all governors, your government is paying school fees. Work with us, work with our department, our education authorities on the ground. If you got issues, feel free to contact me and our department. Now our advisors blow you, or inspectors blow your districts and our provinces. So one time, Lesla, your government will continue to pay school fees this year. It's already in the budget. We will now roll out as we go through the rest of the academic year programs. Thank you, Tomas.
The Honourable Member for Raikos.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Past time we talk, good plan New Year lo yun na all get all members lo Parliament lo this lo House na one kind lo Speaker to. Mr. Deputy Speaker, Question blomi golo Minister blo lens na physical planning. As you are aware, Mr. Deputy Speaker, one of the government's key priorities is economic growth. Now, one plus strategy may play using MLO special economic zones. Apart from other challenges, may play gato same reliable na cheaper energy na sustainable infrastructure. Ground and one plus big play issue. Land is a big issue, and land is locked in the hands of the owners of the land. So, question below me, golo minister emosem. What's the minister's plans, and what is department doing to free up land for economic development? Number two, ask him lo me emosem. As you know, Mr. Deputy Speaker, land is communally owned in Papua New Guinea, and it is one of the greatest wealth that our people have. So enough talking this la house na people of Papua New Guinea. In the process, lo suppose by go securing land for economic growth. One of strategies by using, so our people are not robbed of their very important asset of land, not only in this current generation, but future generation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Deputy Speaker, for giving me the floor.
Honourable Minister for Lands.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Thank you, the good member for Rikos, for asking this very important, pertinent question. Before I start, I'd like to wish everyone in here Happy New Year. Good luck at Pespli Blogarana. Happy New Year to our country. As a good member for Rikos has pointed out, currently this year, Mr. Deputy Speaker, we have a budget of 150 million for land expansion in our country. We have had a lot of issues with land, especially the expansion in our towns, especially Lukilo Port Moresby, Ilukilo Ley, Ilukilo Medang, Hagen, Goroka. Plantiman now sleep inside Lol settlement, some stuff inside. So the government, in its wisdom, has decided that we should acquire more land to increase what we currently have as alienated land. Alienated land in the country is around 3 to 4% out of the total land banking in our country. So if we expand our land and build, the idea is to build, one of them would be to build a couple of brand new suburbs in Port Moresby, working closely with the members for Moresby and our good governor. So we have, since at the 80s, we have not had any more land expansion. So this will try to solve some of the problems we have now of people being evicted on our land, Mr. Deputy Speaker, of people being thrown out on the land, of people who are working not having acquired proper land titles and are sitting on customary blocks. It will help both sides, customary landowners and also the government and people putting roofs over their heads. So this program is part and parcel of that. So with the suburbs in our cities, the expansion of land in Port Moresby and Ley, it starts this year. And that will create, let's say for an example, we create another suburb like Garihu for 10,000 allotments. That suburb, Mr. Deputy Speaker, will not only expand and put roofs overhead for our people, but it will also contribute to having an income for our government. That will contribute to an example of 10,000 allotments. You will also have maybe in land rates alone, you'll probably have 15 million per annum coming back into government coffers, into our consolidated revenue. You'll roughly have, in power bills alone, you will roughly have, if you're paying a power bill of 100 kina a fortnight, for 10,000 allotments, you will have 26 million coming into our power company. For water and sewerage, you will also have roughly, if you pay 50 kina a month, you roughly have 6 million kina coming in per annum into our. So it's not just about acquiring land. We're also making money. So in one suburb, you will probably make between 40 to 50 million kina that will come back into consolidated revenue to go towards the next expansion next year, for the budget next year. That is for our urban areas. For our agricultural areas, we'll be looking at acquiring land like in Western Province. We'll be looking at expansion of land in West New Britain, expansion of land in Middle Ramu, so that we can work together on agricultural allotments and build the infrastructure and acquire land for development purposes in agriculture also. let's say, for example, we have 10,000 allotments of land that we acquire for agriculture purposes in the field of oil palm. In the field of oil palm, you have 20 hectares each. So that's 10,000 allotments, and making an income roughly based on 20,000 kina per annum for each individual allotment, you will be able to make 200 million kina added onto your income gross for the whole country. So those are, we're looking at expansion. We're not just trying to spend money. So 150 million will be good, and it'll be going for the next 4 years so that we can expand our current land bank, which is land banking of 4% at the moment, and try to increase it towards a land bank of about 6%. Because a lot of investors coming to the country, what they're scared of is dealing directly with landowners. We have to give them that confidence, that security, and that's by acquiring the land. Some of the land, 50%, will be acquired to put in areas where, like police stations, government centers, which will we outright acquire. For the others, like residentials and businesses, we'll try to do it in partnership with the landowners so that the landowners also have equity in these stakes, similar to some of the concept that we have already successfully delivered. Not just talked about it, but successfully delivered. Example like Tuhava, which is a concept we've acquired land from the local landowners, and now they're sitting as beneficiaries of that land development, work in partnership with developers. So this land expansion development program, can assure our good madam that it's a focus for government to try to expand our current land holdings and ensure that our people get surety, security, build new suburbs for them, put roofs overhead, fix our settlement problems in our cities and urban areas, and also build new towns like in Najab, for example, which will be a new town will be built at Najab for expansion, and also in the Kikori area, which we will be building a brand new township there also, and expanding places like Kokopo, so that we have tourism there, and Medang, and a few other places, Kuroka and Akansamnasem. I wish I had more time to explain a bit more, but hopefully that be able to clarify to Parliament. Thank you.
The Honourable Governor of Morobe.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I thank you for giving me the leave to ask question not on notice this afternoon. My question not on notice is directed to the Minister for Transport. I am not sure whether the Minister is available in Parliament in the precincts of the chambers. Is there or is not there? Well, then I'll ask the Prime Minister.
Honourable Governor, the Minister is not here, so...
I'll ask the Prime Minister.
Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. First of all, I'd like to thank you on behalf of the people of Morobe Province that you have provided 150 million in the budget to make sure that we purchase land where it's necessary to expand the city or for whatever purpose, because we are considering moving the capital of Lae City, political capital of Morobe, in the city of Lae to Najab. We're going to make the announcement very shortly, but that being the case, and before that is achieved, we have to make sure that we purchase land owned by the traditional landowners and the state land. So I thank you, Prime Minister, for that allocation in this budget. My question to you, Prime Minister, is this, Mr. Prime Minister, is that, of course, we are vigorously involved in building four-way lane or two-way lane along the highway or patching them up. The city of Lae to Waterhouse and to Ramu is sitting on water. Is sitting on water. So it doesn't matter how much, to whatever degree that we try to patch that road or to extend the road, there will always be potholes. Therefore, Mr. Prime Minister, I want us to make a history in this country. And I want to propose to you, Mr. Prime Minister, in a humble way, can we begin to construct a railway on post? Well, of course, the engineers will decide the best way possible. but I am common sense, I'm telling you. Build a railway on posts from Lae City to Waterise to Ramu and beyond, so that heavy cargo from the Highlands can be parked in Waterise. They can be loaded on the carriages of the train to be taken to the city of Lae or where the parking area is. Similarly true for the Ramu. Oil can be filled in the containers, carried in the
all the way into Vanamo is there. We already have our transport department as well as Kumul Consultant Holdings looking into the option. This is a transport system that is possibly can utilize our public-private partnership policies in place for a private investor to come into to partner government in this space. You would know, Mr. Deputy Speaker, Makam, Ramu, and all the way to the Civic Plains is a huge agricultural area that we're trying to unbundle and unopen, following on from the Deputy Prime Minister's statement on land acquisition in partnership with provincial governments and our landowners. And so definitely we looked into the option of using rail from Lae all the way up to Wutung or to Wainamo. So that option is there. As I make response to this question, any private investors out there who want to partner national government, partner provincial governments for this opportunity, for instance, we could stop highways from coming into Lae City and Lae Wharf. You pick from train out there into an inland port somewhere in the Makam Valley to be dispatched to up into the Highlands. Those options are being looked at. Transport Department was working into a policy look, and so I will get this back to Parliament and back to the Governor. Governor, if you have an important suggestion, we look forward to partnering the provincial government. Any private investors out there to look into this option, very, very much welcome. The last trip I took from Kikori to Medeng, I descended into the Ramu and Makam Valley, and I saw oil palm coming in places where there was no oil palm before. So it's a huge potential there. Railway is an option that we are looking very much into. Any private investors who want to partner us, including our super funds, national government is looking into that space also. Thank you very much.
The Honourable Member for Kainantu.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Question blomi mi directing me go without notice. Minister blong works na highway. Deputy Speaker, some time ago, Pinis government been securing 3 billion kina EDB long funding rehabilitation along Highlands Highway. And there's a walk continue. Nama ripla lokim all burukim na give him certain sections he go along one company lo walk on this highway. This highway very important highway. You may get a that's why government is securing this loan. Me no drive go abrisim goroka. Me sabe tanim lo goroka ta son naikam. Condition lo walk all contractors engaged with the highway. Only walk all semonem. Na standard lo walk, quality lo walk. Me no sabe all leaders go anta posemba o sabe. Me bisa go lo goroka na come again. Triple Christmas or 4 Christmas walk is stop. Na lately Prime Minister yet na all team even come through, pass through long, Gorokai come down long, Kainantuna come down long, Kasampas na come. Na me believe plan leaders he looks at finish. Start lo hang on ofi, there's a section. He come down lo waterize. Roti bagrab na bagrab. This plow company. Only engage him again. Only make him, we believe only send him company 4 different companies. So question lo me now and he go long, works minister mo send. When all company department lo you or government through department we engage him. When him company straight lo make him this lo walk. Namelo hingan ofi na waterize section. Now when in time through, this blow walk by Pinis. No pla Christmas now. Na me like him all people blow me pla. Only go come. One time there's a risk. Blow pothole. there's a risk long all hap all materials all trauma number road na hap road all katim logen landslide na all kind stuff logen by continue go through and there's a risk. Criminal activities low road block na hold up and work increase because plenty pothole. Na plenty man meli Christmas period ikamo semol work lo poret. Na all go through plenty experiences. So two question me asking ma works minister. Na me like him assurance. One in time there's plus section blow road by a penis. Na all man meli can travel free along this plahab. Now big more question me like asking me more sem. Why? You may not be engaging or reputable, experienced, or civil construction or company where you may get he also make him a whoopla work. Now you may engage him or company no got name, no got experience. Now big money you may spend him. Now walking or come up yet and taking plan years slow completing. Let's plan condition alone or decision even stop lo me plan. And number 3 question. The number 4 question. Usat all the engineers he work on supervising and managing this road works. Works he work on managing or usat he managing because on site me looking me go come plan time electric blow me no looking one block works engineer staff one block works car one time engineer staff supervising na managing this work staff. So if a question me asking Prime Minister long works na I will answer him. Now all people can survey. Thank you.
Minister of Works.
Thank you. Good block question blow. Member block Kenanto. Me too before me answer him. This blow 4 block ask him. Me kisses block time to Deputy Speaker. Lot of almost New Year na. Happy 2023. Lo me block that come back and one time. Good block ting na good block strong. Lo make his block yeah. Number 1 block good block successful yeah. Road long Highlands Highway. Have time me play. Been start work law 3 years now this road all ADB you look out in this road. All ADB look out in this road, only got section. All 1 contractor only give him. All this section, all 1 contractor only give him all big all reputable all big company. All Chinese company. Plenty blow this company all ADB yet through law board law ADB all is have kiss him all contractors time go tender all ADB yet have kiss contractors now recommend him come law NEC law endorse him so long all contractors law me play kiss him na give him work I mean me play say make him ADB me 1 blah reputable na me big blah contributor na big blah donor say them contribute lo country blo me bla Papua New Guinea. This bla road blo me bla Highlands Highway start long. Kakumuka na finish lo Najab all ADB look out him. So this bla road time only give him long all contractors. But me bla must got all backup all maintenance all emergency all workers potholes must come up. Time potholes come up. He must got contractor to maintain all these potholes. Now all maintenance so that this road and by he got good condition. All travelers travel on top long. So some sections long water rise come long. Ingnofi and 1 block long all maintenance work. All this maintenance work even stop. So this maintenance company long put potholes na petty more potholes na some work for emergency been come up so this section semi been alright regular travelers blah but all na plus sections law hagen come over long even come down law water rise na go long lay road condition good blah road condition good blah before you can travel on 9 hours where this section now you talk to long and by go over the hagen long most sections come up alright. Only still na steady finish. It's just that this section that's only come up. May play talk finish. One time ADB lo put him full time maintenance money to go down so that time all contractor is working go, any emergency come up, work long maintenance to must go behind him. Or road sealing now, so that this conditions for road must stop. So maybe I ask him close to 40 million. So every Christmas finish. Now I'm going to New Year. But maybe start talk law. All ADB bombless run one them all. Probably next week bombless talk law display. Now all start putting money go around. This plus section now you talk to long end. And now bombless start work long end. So we are on to it. All work long. All engineers, now all this plan, all ADB at Sawe put in money, now all is Sawe kiss him, all engineers belong all yet too. All Sawe engage him all, Sambla Gupler, all engineers too, long working design, detail, costing, belong all this belong roads, where now people start work connect PNG too. Last month, maybe I approve him some law consultants law, make him some law design a detailed work law, start law, votung kamogata, now ogata come down ogata law hitano, and maybe start law, engage him all. Most engineers design, all ADB at the fund him. Now all engineers is our make him work. So all contractors is our use him this all design, long build him road and top long end. So all nabla talk time. Make him all talk me tram law, cramabim, this blah work long blah. On the section, I'm good blah. It's just this last section, so now I'm come back, I'm start work long. Once that is done, Highlands away. Now section I'm law, Simbu, now section 2 law, Mereng 2 law, Tabo, Nagodan law, Ramu, this plus section 2, and me plus start work long. Some time ground in a step all too, so me plus. All engineers he work or how best or want him materially can use him long. Use him now by long term. Road time only selling him can stop 20, 30, 40 years. So this plan two work law is start also. So me assure him member block kainan tu also. And now me block come and me start work law this section now. Thank you.
The honourable member for Abao.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, Happy New Year to every one of you, yourself, our Chair, Prime Minister, Leader of the Opposition, and all honourable leaders. My question without notice also goes to the hard-working Minister for Works and Highways, if I can be allowed. Last year, before we went to the election, I asked the former Works Minister on the status of the Magi Highway. And I did invite the then minister to come with me for a ride on the Magi Highway because the state of the highway was really bad. And being from Abao, which I have to traverse Rigo side of Magi Highway, I go on a weekly trip on this highway called Magi. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the same company was awarded a contract, I believe, for patching of the Magi Highway. The same company also awarded this time, doing the same job, and they have started from 6 Mile, passing Nagaire now, and they went to the other side in Magi Highway to Kupiano, the same company. This particular company, on the seal component of the road which deteriorated, in the last contract, just took the size of the road sand and filled the patch holes on the sealed road. And you and I know, come rain, everything went back to not square one, but square minus one. It deteriorated. Mr. Minister, through you, Chair, is this the standard of fixing seal road, just to take the sand on the side, fill it up, and come rain, we award the same contract, doing the same thing again? As just an ordinary citizen, I think it's not right. I think it's wrong. Secondly, through you, Deputy Speaker, I don't see engineers from the works department going and supervising the work. They're not testing the soil that they throw over a pothole in a seal road. I thought maintaining a pothole in a seal road is completely different. You just don't throw sand on the road, because come rain that same night, the same hole will appear. Aren't there standards of maintaining pot roads on seal roads? And so this section from Sarawakena to Alepa, Minister, please take the names down. Sarawakena, where the bridge is, to Alepa village, that's the west section of the Magi Highway. It takes me 3 hours to get to Kupiano, but on this road I spend 1 hour just going on first gear. And so somebody has to tell the nation what is the standard of doing maintenance on potholes on seal road. I am saying that that's not the way seal road repairs are done. Number 2 question, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I have been advised that a tender has been won for a 2-lane sealing from a bridge called Imila to Moreguina Teno. Can the Minister confirm whether this information is true, because nothing has taken place? Last question, Mr. Deputy Speaker, to the good Minister is, the bridge called Imila, where the sealing road ends, the runners fall down nearly every week onto the Imila River, and the young people will go and pick them up and put them again. How long will this national road bridge be falling down every week? Aren't there engineers? And I have run the Secretary for Works every time I come back from Abao. Nothing has happened. The redecking using the new material is at Omen Bridge and Laco Bridge. That redecking of the bridges stopped there, and Imila right up to Cloudy. All the bridges are still wood and still the old World War II runners steel that is still there. Can the Minister assure me that under the bridges program, can the remaining be done by the same standard as the Omen Bridge, the new decking, which is very, very good, and the Laco? So please, Minister, can I ask you to come with me for a ride on the Magi Highway so that you can know exactly what I feel every week when I go on the road? Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Honourable Minister for Works. Honourable Minister, our question time is left, but since then the member have already asked the question, you will continue and reply to the question.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. Thank you, Leader na Member Blo Abao, Blo Good Bla or last Kim. Maintenance road law, this bla road law, road law Magi Highway, Igolo Abao. Iga tenda emi bin go out. Tenda road law sealing, law full seal 2-lane road, and mibla ibin got all funding. Got all funding where government only put him na. Mibla waiting BSP loan almost 1 billion. This road, which earned by sealing road start law. Most people go ogata. This 1 billion, mibla will wait lot sealing this road. Time every move, pa mibla start law. Straight all bridges to want them na go. Law petty all potholes, law sea road, all maintenance na all emergency work. Just law put him all gravel on top law sea road, law potholes so that car must go come. But law real contractor law put him sea road, and mibla will wait him this funding. So time this funding come in, display road play you, main highway, by connect Kogata. Osem na anani lo display government, lo marabe roso government, through lo connect PNG, display road, one priority road too. Display contractor, where me play kisim na, he working display working go. Yes, working also because contractor establish display area. Good plan me play engage him too so that display maintenance to can work. Now wait him, big plan contract labored so that can start him, all can start him display road go. Osem na display or road. You talk about the gravel on top of the road, all maintenance, now emergency. So me plan will make him. Some block section, you say conditions, rain, all time, rain, all not factors, all money maintenance, but still rain, but come down around yet. So this contractor, me still work this half staff. Come to watch end of the year, all funding, maintenance, you got all slowness, stuff, paperwork, engineers, go down, we got all district, all works, all provincial works, all engineers, stuff, ground. Long make sure all report come long secretary. So this all road you talk to law, we the gravel na put on top law. See road and maintenance na, no permanent and maintenance that's all. But road you me law this hub and by go ogata. This bridges law imira na golo morigina. Na all bridges, all program, me play got NEC submission law display week or next week you got NEC. Display submission I am ready next up. So I'm going to long all kind of bridges, all rural bridges, all some national highway all bridges. I'm long all 200-meter bridge, me play pomio. All the up to awesome. So me play by kissing endorsement. Now I'm like giving priority. Long all these all bridges. But me, like assuring you also, display Mr. Manilo connect PNG. Na display here, display funding summit, display road. Probably after law. Some time, some money go finish after 1 year or so, I think you guys roll the sea road. Now you come to talk to the minister and me road now. But before that happens, anytime we can do lago. Me assuring you. So it's like in black college la weekend, me black college la weekend. Na ba mi black looking na, ba mi kam na mi black start work la road. So thank you through. I think display me answering question to you.
Honorable members, our question time has lapsed. Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Speaker, I ask leave of Parliament to move a motion without notice.
Is the leave granted? Honorable Minister, of your motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the leave of absence be granted to Sir Julius Chan, MP, Member for New Ireland Provincial, the Honourable Chris Haiveta, MP, Member for Gulf Provincial, and the Honourable Powers Pakop, Member for National Capital District, for the duration of this meeting on medical grounds. And the Honourable Anderson Mize, MP, Member for Aitapelumi, for a week to attend a death in the family.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the Parliament do now adjourn until tomorrow, 10 a.m.
The question is that those who agree to say in favor. Honourable members, beg your pardon. The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Honourable members, I now adjourn Parliament to tomorrow, 10 o'clock a.m.